Mansi, we have a special conversation coming up. My colleague Srishti had a conversation with the CenturyPly board. So let's go across to them.
Sure. Joining me today for a very special conversation is Mr. Keshav Bhajanka, Executive Director at CenturyPly Woods. A very warm welcome, Mr. Bhajanka, and thank you so much for your time. Firstly, let's start with what's really happening in your sector, because we see that the Government of India has taken several steps to formalize the quality standards within the plywood and allied sectors. How significant are these reforms for the industry, and what kind of impact are you seeing already?
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I think, like you have rightly pointed out, we all are very bullish on India and the fact that going forward, India is going to be one of the dominant, if not the dominant, economic power in the world. Having said that, there are certain challenges that were existing in our industry, predominantly in the form of cheap imports, low quality substandard imports, low quality products being manufactured domestically, which were hurting both the sentiments of the customer and the industry as a whole. So I think that the Government of India, the Commerce Ministry, under the able guidance of Shri Piyush Goyal, have been able to take a drastic step by implementing quality control standards as far as plywood and panel product category is concerned. I think this is going to be beneficial not just to the sector and the economy as a whole, but also to end customers, people who were suffering from low quality products that were being given to them. And I think this is going to pave the way for India to not just be a dominant force in the domestic market, but to become one of the largest exporters in the world as far as our products are concerned. Once Indian quality is established worldwide, I see no reason as to why we can't become the largest exporter of plywood and wood panel products in the world. It will take some time, but with these steps being taken by the government, I think we are well positioned to start on that journey.
All right, interesting point there. But Keshav, that's exactly what my next question was, because duplication and unorganized players, these were some of the factors that were at play for your industry. But how, as an organized player, how has CenturyPly taking concrete steps to strengthen the quality stamping and ensure authenticity in the market?
I think for most of the organized players, there isn't much change because we were meeting quality standards that the government has established. I think for the unorganized players, like you rightly pointed out, this is going to be a massive challenge. Now they will either have to organize themselves and they will have to deliver basic quality standards to customers. Otherwise, I don't think that survival in the industry will be possible. I think as an industry and as per FIPI, which is our industry organization, we have done tremendous work in proliferating this change to all members of our association, to all the wood panel manufacturing units. And I think that the fact that this is something that is here to stay, that this is not a short-term impact, or this is not something that can be escaped, is now being realized by the industry. So you'll see a lot more of organized play, and you'll see a lot less of cheap, substandard, low-quality products that were fooling customers earlier.
Indeed, that's indeed good for the consumers as well. But Keshav, once again, to talking about the government steps that they are taking. Now, with the government's renewed focus on infrastructure development, modern urban planning and a real estate boom, of course, where do you see the biggest growth opportunity for your sector, that is plywood and allied industries as well?
I think, if you look at the overall wood panel market in India, we would be at about 75,000 crores today. Considering the current GDP growth that we are at, and considering the push that the government has on housing for all, the focus that the government has on infrastructure, I think that our sector will continue to grow slightly faster than GDP. Having said that, let's assume for once that we are at a 10% growth year after year as far as our industry is concerned. So within 10 years, our industry would be at close to 2 lakh crores. So since independence, we have created close to 75,000 crores of turnover as far as our industry is concerned. And we are going to create 1,25,000 crores over the course of the next 10 years. So I think that, there is tremendous potential. I think that it is time for all of us now to scale up and to firmly establish the mission of Atmanirbhar Bharat and of India becoming one of the largest exporters in the world.
All right, but Keshav, now let's touch upon the current demand trends. Help us understand, where are you witnessing that, both in the urban premium housing as well as the tier 2, tier 3 markets? Where's the demand coming from?
I think if you look at the home building material industry as a whole, there have been certain headwinds. This is because after COVID, we saw such a big spurt where all the unsold inventory was sold. And due to that, there was a paucity in new houses that were available to buy, so to speak. As such, I think the last year and a half have been slightly sluggish. But now the signs of revival are there. Now the new inventory that has been created in the form of new housing, new condominiums, new bungalows has hit the market. And our journey as a wood panel player begins when it moves from a house to a home. When the end consumer starts moving into the house, they start building their furniture, they start building their paneling, they start looking at their kitchens. That is when demand for our products comes into play. So I think that the tailwinds are behind us, the headwinds are behind us, and the tailwinds have now started to finally arrive. With this in mind, I think we are looking at a very good both short and medium term. Of course, the long term is going to be very bright.
Well, of course, but the whole sector is developing, right, Keshav? Because with rising disposable income, consumers are now increasingly prioritizing branded quality materials. How are you really shaping your product strategy? Give us some more sense there.
I think you're absolutely right. And the one thing that we have realized is it's very important to be present at every single price bracket. So if you look at it maybe 10, 15 years ago, in the panel industry, we were present with only Club Prime, which is the most expensive plywood in the country, the highest quality, but also the most expensive. Over the course of time, we have introduced products at every single pricing point. So if you look at plywood, we have introduced our Scenic 710 range, which is at a price point that is more affordable to the mid-income group. We have introduced particle board and MDF catering to the segment that wants but could not afford plywood for homes and other usages, and particle board catering to the commercial and the office segments. So by this brand proliferation and by this diversification, I think we have been able to provide a quality product to consumers at every single price point. I think this is the biggest change that we have brought about, and this is benefiting us definitely, but the customer as well.